I'm Renée Sferrazza, your sommelier, bringing amazing wines to your glass. And these are my liquid pleasures. Local Ontario wines have a lot going on. They are amazing for celebrating, whether you're bringing them to a family occasion, opening a bottle with a significant other, or having a friend's evening. Ontario has got you covered. I have two wines with me here today from Henry of Pelham family estates. They're Baco Noir and the Cuvée Catharine. These are wines that can stretch across many palates. So let's get celebrating. All of the wines at Henry of Pelham are made by the Speck family, and they have a long family history in winemaking within Niagara. Even the name of the winery, Henry of Pelham, is a name that their great-great-great-grandfather gave himself. And the Cuvée Catharine is named after their great-great-great-grandmother. You have a lot of history that goes into the glass with Henry of Pelham, and even the Speck family shows up on their wine's names. This is the Speck family Reserve Baco Noir. When we're looking at the terroir of Niagara, they are making wines from the Short Hill Bench VQA. This is a VQA within the larger Niagara Peninsula, and it's showcasing a little bit more of that cool climate elevation terroir. Perfect for Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and Baco. As we look at Henry of Pelham, they totally give back to the community. They are really showing what sustainable winemaking in Ontario looks like. They are part of one of the first certified sustainable wineries by the Ontario Wine Council, and they work with wonderful programs like the Porto Protocol and the Green Belt to make wine here done in a sustainable way. When's the last time you had a great bottle of Baco Noir? Henry of Pelham does an amazing job with this hybrid grape. Made for cool climate regions, just like in Ontario, Baco can produce wines that have a lot of depth to them and a lot of berries. Think the berry notes of Cab Sauv meets the lovely refreshingness of Beaujolais. You're really getting a lot of perspective in the glass with this wine. Red berry notes, blackberry, blueberry, cherry, so much berry. But at the same time, a lot of florals as well, with violets, a little bit of forget-me-nots, and a slight twiggy vibe. Let's get into the palate. That refreshing style of Baco, that's what you can expect on the palate. Very bright, very cherry poppy, really quite lovely, and just great to be enjoyed all by itself, making it an ideal celebration wine. You could pair this with some appetizers or just finish a glass all on its own. Baco Noir is a hybrid grape, and if this is your first time hearing about hybrids, let me add some color in for you. Hybrid grapes started to be produced in the 1800s. Francois Baco was actually the man who made Baco Noir, the wine that's in my glass. It is a crossing of different grape varietals blending together Vitis vinifera and Vitis grape varietals from America. What does that mean? It means European grapes blended with North American grapes. All done in a way to make sure that vineyards could last through the colder temperatures that are here and the different terroir that is going on within North America. Baco Noir has stayed through in Canada, and you are seeing a lot more productions from great wineries like Henry of Pelham making them. An essential part of any celebration is bubbles. Bubbles really set the mood. You know you're at a celebration. They really just have that convivial nature. You can swirl your glass, see the perlage, and get a nice cheers. The Henry of Pelham Cuvée Catharine is done in the traditional method, which means this wine is made just like the style of champagne. A blend of Chardonnay and Pinot Noir, two classic grapes in Ontario. You really get to see how they come together in the glass. Once you give this beautiful rosé a little bit of a nosing, You'll see there's a little bit of raspberry, white floral, toasted notes in there, touch of apple too and cranberry, but on the palate, beautiful small bubbles that just dance across the palate. Such a great and lively wine. Not all sparkling wines are created equal. They're not all the same, even though they have bubbles. Traditional method sparkling wines like the Cuvée Catharine are made in a style that really showcases the champenoise style of method. Now, what does that mean? All sparkling wines go through 2 fermentations, but in the traditional method, that second fermentation happens in the bottle, where you create a base cuvée. In this case, it has Chardonnay and Pinot Noir in the blend. That blend is then rebottled, you have a liqueur de tirage added, and the second fermentation starts. You get that lees aging out for an additional 24 months, which means you have that bubbles that come in, those toasty aromas, and that particular perspective that traditional method winemaking for sparkling can really showcase in the glass. A true sense of quality. Every celebration needs some options, whether you're going for a lighter, lifted, berry-style red or a beautiful bottle of bubbly to end off the evening. Having both of these options can really cement the night. Buying from local Ontario wineries really helps out the wine region here, and Henry of Pelham has done an amazing job showcasing the Ontario perspective in both of these. Just look below to find out how to add these wines to your next celebration.